There's a brand new legal profession in Utah, and people dealing with matters of family law, debt collection, or landlord-tenant issues are going to be extremely excited about this new option for legal representation.
In our office, there would always be people who would call, and they just needed representation, and sometimes they just needed legal advice. Sometimes they just needed their documents prepared and filed with the court.
Introducing the Licensed Paralegal Practitioner. LPPs can help people who can't afford or don't actually need the services of an attorney. They can do everything an attorney can do except represent clients in court. And they can do it for about 1/3 of the cost. Utah is one of the first to jump on board.
Utah is only the second state to license paralegals.
And ultimately, we struck upon licensing paralegals to provide legal advice outside the supervision of any lawyers in a bunch of areas where clients are just not getting any representation.
Justice Himonas says that up to 60% of family law cases in the state are not receiving legal help.
So we're talking about helping a segment of the population that's not going to lawyers. Either they don't want to or they can't afford it.
I would tell attorneys to embrace LPPs. LPPs are not your competition. In fact, they are often, and we hope that they will become, the only resource for individuals without many opportunities to seek legal resources elsewhere. The LPP program is an initiative co-sponsored by the Utah Supreme Court and the Utah State Bar, designed to create an entirely new legal profession for paralegals already working and young people interested in a path within the law but that don't necessarily want to become lawyers, and also an initiative to help bridge the access to justice gap in our communities for folks who cannot afford traditional legal representation.
The legal profession is one area where alternatives have not really existed before now.
I can go to a pharmacy and have a pharmacist give me a flu shot. That's an impossibility in the legal profession. So before the LPP, there was no such thing as the equivalent of a nurse practitioner or a nurse or anything along those lines. Only lawyers were licensed to provide legal advice.
There are currently 4 LPPs in the state, and they are extremely happy about where this is going.
I wanted to jump up and just start dancing.
So this really, to be able to close the access to justice gap is a huge deal.
An LPP is a lot less expensive than hiring a lawyer. We can negotiate for clients and attend mediation with them. You can also negotiate with opposing counsel and opposing LPPs to settle their case.
And the number of LPPs will start to expand almost immediately.
It's starting small. You know, our first cohort we did a few months ago is 4. We'll probably have about the same number in our next exam. So what I tell people is at the end of 2 years, 20, at the end of 10 years, 200. But that's assuming that we don't expand the group of people that can provide these services. And like I mentioned, maybe the schools, and we've been talking about this, start providing bachelor's degrees in legal services. The University of Utah already provides a master's in legal services, and start authorizing them as well to provide some limited legal advice to the people that need it the most.
A first meeting with an LPP is going to be a free consultation typically, and then you'll be billed by the hour, usually $75 to $100 an hour. Attorneys are anywhere from $200 to $350 an hour.
You can do an unbundled service rather than paying for a full representation. An LPP can work and fill out parts of the paperwork for you, give you an hour of advice, help with a stipulation or only final documents, and bill hourly rather than paying a retainer. Also, you can get in to see an LPP quicker.
People would want to come and see an LPP because their case is not as complicated maybe. I mean, there is a role. Attorneys, you will always have family law attorneys because there are some people whose cases, they would just be beyond my scope.
Let's take divorce, for example. Sometimes complexities in divorce will require an attorney to work through those details, but LPPs can help people with their documentation for divorce, custody and support, temporary separation, parentage, civil stalking, and name change cases. They can also attend mediation. Most divorce cases settle in mediation, but hiring an LPP after mediation can be a really smart move.
A lot of mediators don't prepare final documents for people, so then these people have to hire an attorney just to prepare the documents for them, and they could hire an LPP to complete that process for them rather than hiring an attorney. An LPP can complete an entire process of a divorce from beginning to end and file all the documents online for them. I want to get the word out there and shout it from the rooftops that this is a thing.
It's a great thing. It's going to be a real service.
This opens up a brand new legal landscape for individuals to feel less alone and to go into these legal matters with more help, armed with people who are on their side and there to assist them.
It's a win-win. I mean, genuinely think that the upside of this is these paralegals or licensed paralegals, when they spot a case that they're not allowed to handle outside of their areas, right? Now they can refer that to a lawyer.
To get help from a licensed paralegal practitioner, call 801-746-5201. You can also email for more information or visit utahbar.org.